Welcome back to the Fantasy Meatballers. Here we are after a very stressful first round of playoffs in fantasy world. I know you're happy. You were sitting on top of the bye. I
I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Felt good. Felt good to have my best week of the entire season, and it doesn't count for a win or a loss. So we'll see. We'll see. I know
Yeah.
you had a good and bad week, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got knocked out in our league, unfortunately. And here's the thing that kind of just gets me like I'm not as disappointed because I'm now making it. I made the championship in the other league, and this other league
Right.
that I'm in, it's a lot more competitive than the our league. So I'm very happy about that. I think the work that you put in, the waiver claims, all that other stuff, the trades, to see it really pay off and you get to that point, it's something to really hang your hat on. So I'm very excited about that. I'm pissed off because this oh man. So we're in a group chat. Ben texted us a screenshot of an Instagram post by Josh Jacobs saying a black screen. Hey guys, I'm not playing today with like three laughing emojis. This was like 20 minutes before the game. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh shit, like I better take him out of my lineup. And I was gonna put like what I was struggling with since our last episode if I was playing both Browns running backs, Nick Chubb and Kareem
Right.
Hunt. So right away, I throw in Kareem Hunt again. I'm like, okay, I'll roll with this. This is fine. Like I'll have my running back set with like the two stars in Cleveland. I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2 minutes later, a report comes out. It's like, no, he is playing. So I'm like, oh, Josh, you little jokester, you. I'm like annoyed now. So I take Kareem Hunt back out of my lineup. I plug in Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs. I went against a lot of things that we talk about because it's like, look, you're throwing out a hobbled Josh Jacobs against a great run defense. Like, it's not like he's going to score or go off. And the Raiders' offense looked really, really bad against the Colts. And
Yeah.
bit me in
Yeah.
the ass, man. Bit me in the ass because if I just
Yeah.
stuck with Kareem Hunt on there, 29 points on my bench, and I think I was accepting defeat when I saw Josh Jacobs had 10 points. That I didn't even throw in Lamar Jackson. I didn't even play him. And of course, he had, I think it was like 39
30.
points.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
I made those two switches, I would have won. And
Yeah.
we'd be singing a different tune. But
Yeah, you would be. You would be. But who would have thought that Browns Ravens game would
oh my God.
87 points?
Yeah, something like that. 47, 42, 89 points. Like,
Yeah, like when we were talking last week, I remember saying like Mark Andrews was a good play. Like the Browns are like a pass, like happy defense. They're gonna move the ball, and then they moved the ball and then some. Like that was unreal. Like, and I don't blame you because like if you think about Browns Ravens in the past, it's like there's not enough points to go around for me to start two guys. Like it's gonna be a low scoring AFC North, winter brawl of a game. And Jacobs, like, I wasn't even like really because I had a bye, obviously, being how good I am.
how good you are.
I really wasn't like I wasn't like stalking the leading up to the games as much as I usually would because it was like okay, whatever happens happens. But I was so confusing watching what went on with Jacobs and in the group. It's just like, was this on purpose from him? Was he trying to like troll people?
Yeah.
I don't know that this is a big week for people.
Yeah,
He just ripped the hearts out of everybody. He really did. It would have been better off if he didn't play.
Yeah, and I think that's what he was doing. I'm sure he had a lot of people tweeting at him, like going into his Instagram, like on his comments and stuff, saying like, "Yo, dude, you playing? Like, what's your deal? Like, I need you to play this week for fantasy." And the thing is, these guys don't care, dude. Like, don't tweet somebody like a professional athlete and say, "Yo, dude, like,
Yeah.
I need you to play this week. Like, what's your deal? Like, what's your ankle looking
They
like?"
see that. They don't. They're human. They
Yeah.
can't read their replies. Yeah. So I would have fun with it too if I was a player. Like I'm risking my life every week, and like this guy behind a keyboard named Paul is telling me I gotta friggin' start. Like,
Yeah, like-
screw it. So you wound up getting bounced, and
Bounced in first round, but
yeah. First round. I'm just looking at the matchup here.
yeah.
Like you said, Hunt and Lamar. Josh Allen really threw a wrench in things by playing well these last few weeks, right?
He did,
plan
man.
on starting him.
He really, really did. And I was nervous. Like I said, like I ultimately did not want to play Josh Allen. But I saw the 10 points out of Jacobs, and my locked-in flex player was Chris Godwin, who got me 4.5 points. So it wasn't like I could pivot from there either. I had 4.5 points out of Godwin. Who knew that the Eagles would be demolishing the Saints? They got me -1 points. Will Lutz misses 2 kicks. Like, my whole team kind of just crumbled. And it seems like this is a kind of a theme that I've been running into when I'm on. In this league, I keep running into the same theme of getting knocked out first round. Even if I secure bye week, the next week I get knocked out. So that's something. But I think this ultimately goes back to the level of competition. Like I said, it's not high in this league, so you get in what you put out of it, right? So, or is that the expression? Whatever the expression, you know what I'm trying to say.
You get out what you put in. Yeah.
So I gotta just reapproach the draft. I thought I had a good draft. Clearly not. Michael Thomas didn't have a great year. Injury. Josh Jacobs was a very frustrating player to own. So gotta go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, that's it, man. So Nick winds up moving on. He's got Gars next week. Ben drops one to Amy, and oh boy, I'll just say this: I've never seen a collapse of a team leading up to kickoff like Ben. And my heart goes out to you, brother. Like, what just happened with Brandon Cooks, with Zeke being banged up, with Gaskin being put on COVID IR again or whatever. McCaffrey, who still might be out this week. Like.
Yep. Yeah, literally, that's it was 4 or 5 players that he had incorporated in his lineup, and Saturday night, Sunday morning, it was like, oh yeah, they're all out. Now you got to rearrange everything, and that's what he did. I mean, Curtis Samuel, that was a great play. Robert Woods, not. I think we expected a lot of different things. Yeah, I think that was due to the involvement of Cam Akers. So if you were able to pick him up in your leagues. If you had started him against the Patriots defense, I know you're really happy about that. If you sat him, don't worry about it, because guess what, dude? You still have you still have Cam Akers if you move on to the next round. I still have Josh Jacobs on my mind. But I mean, look, dude, we were roasting Ben in general, like that whole season. Like, why did you trade for Zeke? Not only in one league, but you did it in 2 leagues, and you traded for a struggling running back. So
he doesn't get any pity from me.
Yeah, my pity is there, but it's not as high as it probably would have been. Like, you knew what you were getting into, so it is what it is.
Definitely doesn't have any pity is Amy, and she took down Ben. She had a very, very average week that won't get it done when I match up with her in a few days.
Matt Ryan had 10 points. Mike Williams in her flex, 0 points. Peyton Barber, she had to pick up a new running back, 5 points. It's frustrating because it's like you get the confidence, you're like, I could beat that, and then all of a sudden
you don't even get to you're done.
Of a sudden
that's what I'm scared of. Like, I'm already looking ahead. I'm like, all right, my team's getting hot. Like, I got a newfound life. Like, last 2 episodes, I was basically saying right off Miles Sanders, he's done. Like, he's done. And I was taking a flyer hoping to get Cam Akers. Now I might have a situation where the rest of the year I have 2 very solid, maybe top 12 running backs. So that just it just blew my mind watching that transpire. And my point is, like, I just need to get through Amy this week, because I really think, like, I looked ahead at Garza's schedule for his team in the championship week, and there's a lot of red in those matchups for him.
Interesting.
Let's talk about it real quick.
Yeah, what do you got?
So he's got, and obviously, like, matchups don't mean anything, because Miles Sanders had a big, red next to his name this week, and the Saints didn't do anything. But championship week, all right, James Robinson goes against Chicago, 6th highest ranked run D. Mm-hmm. Adam Thielen at New Orleans, 8th highest pass D. DK Metcalf against the Rams. He's got Jalen Ramsey against him. that's good with me.
Yeah, we saw
Number
that
one.
before. Yeah.
Darren Waller against Miami, number 8. Colts D 9. Young Ho Koo. I don't care. Every position matters. Number 8. So I see a way where maybe he gets a little excited about David Montgomery. Maybe slides him into the lineup instead of James Robinson. James Robinson only got I think less than 60% of the touches this past week for some reason. Maybe he outsmarts himself a little bit, but maybe I'm too high on my team. But I think I got a shot at this, man.
I think you do too. And I mean, you have every right to be high on your team. You had 18 points out of Herbert and 9 points out of Justin Jefferson, right? So you factor that in, and you still, so that's 27 behind combined points between the two. The quarterback position, arguably one of the most important positions, and your flex position. You had 27 points out of those two players, and you still put up 191 points.
It felt so good.
Where did that come from? And that's with Miles Sanders on your bench, who had 32 points. So, yeah,
I'm
dude.
getting nervous, Ray. I'm getting nervous. It's all gonna crumble down next week. It's bound to happen, dude.
Oh man,
dude,
knock you off the high that you're on. But dude, that was nuts. That was so unbelievable.
Unpredictable. Yeah. Even Diggs. I was like, all right, this is gonna be a down week for him.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's
29.
defense.
Pittsburgh,
10 catches, 130 yards,
yeah.
and a touchdown.
That's Brandon Ayuk.
Oh my god, man, that was such a good. That's such a good pickup.
I got some sort of universal thing working in my favor, because you look at my team week to week and it's just you're screwed, Paul. You have no running backs, and then your receivers are getting hurt. Oh, Devontae Parker's not anything. Joe Mixon isn't even playing, and I'm still hanging in there.
Yeah,
and
you're rolling with the punches, man. You really are.
You gotta just be active on the waivers and every single week, just try and do something something I did this week. We could talk a little bit about the strategy of the playoffs. I don't know if you're doing anything in the other league now that you're still alive, but I picked up a few guys. I picked up Jalen Hurts and Jeff Wilson, and I did that because I wanted to keep. If Amy had any sort of idea about picking up another quarterback to start in place of Matt Ryan, I'm like, okay, it's probably recency bias is going to say I'm going to play Jalen Hurts. He's I don't know if she's an Eagles fan, but everyone seems to be talking about him. And then if she needed a running back and said Peyton Barber's not going to cut it, I said I'm getting Jeff Wilson because that's the highest projected running back on the waiver wire in a Kyle Shanahan offense. I don't need my opponent picking them up, and that being the reason why I lose the entire matchup. So,
I noticed that you did pick up Jalen Hurts, and I was like, I hope this dude is not going to try to roll the dice and play the hot hand and play Jalen Hurts when he is Justin Herbert.
I thought about it, but I also have come to the conclusion if I was going to play anybody over Herbert, it would be Taysom Hill. Actually, I think he has a safer floor. You just saw what Tua did against KC, and he put up 30 because it's going to be a shootout probably.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I mean, something to monitor though. They reactivated Drew Brees off of IR, so I
saw that. So there's a good.
That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play this weekend, but the reactivation is something to monitor. If you were rolling with Taysom Hill, that's something to keep in mind. But no, to answer your question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're listening, I just want to add, this is good news for Alvin Kamara if you're still alive with him.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Back, he skyrockets.
Yeah, the value of Alvin Kamara goes back up, and I think that's a good chance. He's got the Kansas City Chiefs coming into town, so I think that's a good chance for, they're going to be playing from behind. A lot of high scoring points in that game. But to answer your question, yes, I have actively looked at my opponent and his roster, and I thought to myself okay, what can I do so that he doesn't have an advantage right now? So, that league is really spread tight, man. It's spread thin. There's not a lot of options.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of options on waivers. There's just nothing good out there. So, I noticed Jelf Wilson Jr. was on there. I have Raheem Mostert. Apparently, there's some kind of knee sprain. They have Dallas this week. If Raheem Mostert's out, I'm plugging in Jeff Wilson. I think I'm confident in my roster. Yeah, I'm confident in my roster that I can have those points. Another player that I picked up, Nelson Aguilar. He was on waivers. He's been going back and forth. So the players that I dropped, Jerry Jeudy, who doesn't seem to be getting any looks from Drew Lock for some reason. I think the emergence of the true number one wide receiver is Tim Patrick. But another receiver I dropped.
KJ Hamler, too.
It's so funny. Like, ironically enough, last episode I said, dude, I'm not going to pick up KJ Hamler and start him. I wish I picked up KJ Hamler and started him. He had 2 catches.
2 for 60 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. Of course so. I guess I put that good luck out there.
It's crazy that Locke had 30 points and Jeudy didn't show up.
Yeah, yeah.
So put him out there, man. That's someone who will. Someone might pick him up and say, "Oh, I'm going to start." It's really only your opponent, and if he picks up and starts him, you'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then the team that I'm going against, I was more worried about the team that I was facing last week because the guy had a very talented roster. So that's what I was worried about, but I was able to pull it off. Derrick Henry, he's a king. He's absolutely insane. Davante Adams, I have the best running back and the best wide receiver on my teams. So that was a huge hit. hit. The team that I'm going against, I'll read you this roster. You tell me if you're nervous. There's 2 players that I'm nervous about on this team. We have Kyler Murray, Kenyon Drake, David Montgomery, DJ Chark, Kiki Cutie, Dallas Goedert, Cooper Kupp, Corey Davis, Cardinals defense, and Daniel Carlson from the Raiders.
He would need a lot of good luck to bounce his way to have good days out of everybody. I think David Montgomery's hot, but anything he gets is going to be canceled by Derrick Henry at the very least. Kyler could have a nice bounce back. He has been very quiet, and this was one of the most consistent quarterbacks up to week 11.
Yeah.
Who are you kind of concerned about?
So I'm worried about David Montgomery. He's having a hot streak. He's going against Minnesota. That's a good matchup. I think last time he played Minnesota, he was out against Minnesota last time. So we don't know what he's going to do against them this year. But he's on a hot streak, so he's playing really, really well. That's who I'm nervous about. Another play that I'm worried about is Cooper Kupp. I think that this is the week that Rams receivers really have a bounce back game. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, they didn't have over 40 yards this past week against New England. So that's a good scheme, good coaching, good defensive scheming to get them out of that game. The Jets don't have that coaching staff. So this could be Jared Goff, flinging the ball.
Coaching staff? I don't even know.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't even seem like they do. So Cooper Kupp, he's a guy that I'm very nervous about to have himself a game. But these other guys that he's starting, Corey Davis, that's another. He's like a wild card, man. I know he had a bad week this past week, but
just depends on the game script for him.
Yeah, if they're running the ball to Henry, which will take points away from Corey Davis, I feel a little bit more confident. But it's still something that the projections
Who the Titans got this week?
They had Detroit, so. It's not like Detroit's going to be...
Dude.
Yeah, I hope so. And with Stafford out, that could also be a good thing. The Titans could be like, yo, dude, we just need to get out of here. We just need to burn some clock. We're just going to run the ball. And that would be great. So, I'm projected 162. My opponent is projected for 131. That means absolutely nothing to me. I need the points. No. And that's what I'm concerned about. So, this is my current lineup.
What's your starting lineup? Yeah.
Yeah, so I had Justin Herbert, Derrick Henry, Raheem Mostert, Davante Adams, Keenan Allen. I'm putting in Logan Thomas at my tight end position. I had Gesicki. Gesicki doesn't look like he's going to be playing this week. I also have Jonnu Smith on my bench, but I'm not playing Jonnu Smith. I don't think that I can roll with him.
He's not it. He's like a blocking tight end to me, and it's just
Yeah, and at that point, it's just I haven't seen anything from him recently where I just am losing interest. Calvin Ridley, Kareem Hunt, Baltimore's defense, and Rodrigo Blankenship. So the players that I'm excited for, I'm excited that I have the Ravens defense against the Jaguars. I think that's a huge huge play, especially because the Jaguars are playing wrong. And they're traveling. Jacksonville's traveling. So I think this is the chance for The Ravens, they're gonna punch him in the mouth. I think the
Buckle
defense
down.
is gonna, yeah. And this is kind of the chance for look. They have two players. The Ravens have two players that were on the Jaguars defense for years, 3 years. So this is their, like, we're going to hit you in the mouth. We're going to show you that because you let us go, because you traded us, you made the biggest mistake. You did not pay us.
You got Ngakoue and
And Calais Campbell. So Calais Campbell's, I know he's dealing with
right.
that calf injury, but I hope he's coming back healthy. And I hope that defense is going to just unleash him. I really feel like they do.
Yeah. The Ravens got a ton to play for too. That AFC is like looking wide open for them. Like they could shore up like a number 2 seed, and I think they'll take care of it. So who's like someone that you're kind of like? You said Jeff Wilson was someone you might plug in for
Raheem Mostert. If Raheem Mostert's out, I'm going to be plugging in Jeff Wilson. But
is there anyone else who's like you're debating? But
yes.
Let's finish first, and then yeah.
Yeah. So, and this is not like I would never plug any receiver on my depth chart or on my bench for this guy if he was healthy, but no one seems to be talking about this, and I don't even know if you're aware of this. Keenan Allen is hurt. Did you know that?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I absolutely had no idea.
That comes tomorrow, man. That's risky.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. He's 9 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown. To me, I'm thinking, yeah, dude's fine. Like, that's perfect. That's a great stat line. He missed a lot of the game, which I did not pay attention to.
Games,
yeah, no one's watching them. So that makes me very worried that if I do roll him out, which that's looking like what is going to happen, if it's going to be a hobbled Keenan Allen. Is he going to get hurt first play? This is a perfect matchup for him to really go off. And if Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are out, that hurts Herbert's value. So that's going to be like...
Yeah, you got me thinking now.
Yeah, that's something to monitor.
Banged up. Mm-hmm.
Mike Williams went out with a back injury.
So who are you going to plug in if Allen can't go?
So I would
Aguilar?
I would flip it. So Keenan Allen is at a wide receiver spot. I would then switch him with Calvin Ridley. And then from my flex position, that gives me a little bit more options where I could either go... We don't know what Devontae Parker looks like, but he's injured and he's going to be lined up against Stephon Gilmore, so I'm not going to be playing him.
I don't think... Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah,
stress.
So that would put me in a pickle where I would ultimately have to decide to roll out Aguilar, who is very hit or miss, or roll out Michael Pittman Jr., who's got a good matchup against the Texans defense. Phillip Rivers seems to be coming on. There seems to be a lot more targets going to T.Y. Hilton, which is a little concerning, but he would be... I'm looking at waivers now.
Pittman put up 5 for 46, 9.6 points against Houston 2 weeks ago. I think he's a safe play if you're just trying to not put a 0 in that column.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Another there's not a lot here. Like I'm looking at wide receivers on the waivers, and it's not great. Same with running backs. Like it's not great. Lynn Bowden Jr., Gus Edwards, Ito Smith. I know Gus Edwards had a great game, but I'm not gonna roll that out there. That scares me.
Hear me out. Lynn Bowden Jr. is very interesting. He's a wide receiver. He is like a wide receiver by nature, by position. And they were just so depleted at running back that he just lined up there for a bunch of snaps. Dude had 7 for 82.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a total punt, like Hail Mary for you to play. I wouldn't be surprised if after all this, like he outscores Michael Pittman, he outscores Nelson Aguilar. If it's me, I'm probably going to go with Aguilar. Just because you have that flex, like home run hitter type of ceiling for him.
Mm. And Henry Ruggs is out. That's another thing that to consider as well. He's on COVID and IR now, so he's not going to be playing tomorrow night. So, more targets could go to him. Where are the targets
going to go?
Yeah. Darren Waller and Nelson Aguilar, I think, are going to be
Hunter Renfrow.
Solid plays. Yeah, and Hunter Renfrow. If you want to throw him out there, I think in rank order I'd go Waller, Aguilar, Renfrow, but targets are going to be there. Targets are absolutely going to be there.
You can throw the ball on the Chargers. So
yeah,
that's concerning though. That I'm glad you brought that up about I don't know how I feel about Herbert if he doesn't have Williams or Allen.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what it looks like. I'm gonna check Amy's lineup. Look at Mike Williams. See,
I got a funny feeling about Herbert this week. Like I just feel like I'm being told by like everybody to play him, and I just have a funky feeling about this game, and I just don't feel comfortable about it.
Yeah, so ESPN says Mike Williams left for week 14 game with a back injury. With his status in question, Williams is too risky of an option this week against the Raiders. And if I go to, it doesn't say if he practiced or not. I don't know if I just completely dodged that or.
Sure.
Tuesday. Raiders after being listed as limited on Tuesday and Wednesday's practice.
Okay.
That's a little concerning, but
he hasn't done anything recently either. Really.
Yeah. Keenan Allen listed as questionable as being limited on Tuesday and Wednesday's practice. So like they're limited, they're practicing on a limited basis. I don't think that the Chargers would roll over and play dead. This is a division matchup. I think at that point that they would want to come out. They're coming off a win. They're playing for Anthony Lynn's job, and unfortunately enough, I like him, man.
He can't coach for his job.
Yeah, he really can't, and it sucks because he seems like he's such a We watch Hard Knocks. Like he seemed like he's such a good guy. Like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to football, but.
Something's going on there.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like they just, I don't know what it is.
There.
I don't understand, but yeah, it's pretty exciting to see. I hope that's a point where they can just say like, okay, let's really play for our coach. So we'll see going in there. But any closing thoughts as we wrap up, man? I know you got a big week. I think we're all praying you not got Amy, but like, what do you got, man?
She's talking a lot of trash. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm doing it for everybody, and I'm holding my tongue because there's a real chance that I think I take her down, and I think I have a great shot this week. I'm feeling confident, feeling good. I think my team's ready to go, and I think my closing thought is just we do all we can. We think we have all the right answers, but once 1 o'clock hits on Sunday, it's out of our hands, man. Just like you said, your team just didn't show up on Sunday. You kind of just go like this. You move on with your life. You learn for next year.
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
have so much more information. We'll be drafting way more clearly, and that's definitely like part of what we want to do in the off season with this whole show. So stay tuned. If you're gonna get bounced out of the playoffs, we'll get you covered for 2021. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my closing thoughts is, it's if you make it to the championship and if you're worried about your roster, like you're going against a stacked team. I'm against this. You weren't against this. I did it last year and I hated myself for doing it. It's a split with the pot.
Yeah.
You message the commissioner, you get in a group chat with the commissioner, yourself, and then the guy you're going against or the girl you're going against, and it's saying like, yo, you want to do a split. I did it last year. I was nervous. I didn't think I had the confidence in my team. And my team won. My team put up 180-something points. And I was like, yo, what the heck, man? If I just stuck with my gut, I would have been fine. And then this year, I make it to the championship, and then here it is again. The group chat's made. Guy texts me, he's like, yo, dude, you want to do a split? I'd be even cool if you do it 400, 200, if you want to do something like that. But
you feel like you're giving up too much. Your team is so valuable this year. You go, 14, 15 weeks so far of managing this group of numbers basically, and you look at your projection, even 30-point difference. I could see if this was neck and neck, like I did it 2 years ago with ads in that league, and I wound up winning. And the matchup wasn't even close, but on paper, leading into that week, I was sweating bullets. So I'm like, okay, I'll take the split. And I think you just have to look at how your matchup is and how confident you are in your team.
Yeah.
And you've already won it. You did it last year. I think this year, spread your wings, brother. Let's do it. Lay it all on the table. You're all in.
I'm ready for it, man.
Yeah,
but
it's the way to go. We'll see how it goes. Championship week for Ray. Let's all pull for him.
I'm pulling for you, dude. It's just more pulling for you.
This is my championship. We are going to redeem ourselves. the 9 dudes that are in this group and one chick who seems to take it home every single year. But we'll catch you guys early next week, either with a smile or a frown on our face. So
we'll see.
Thank you for tuning in for the Meatballers this week. Right. It's been a pleasure.
Take care.